Welcome back. So we are going to be looking at how I'm going to create just a basic drum groove that may or may not stick in the final track. I just want to get a scratch track out to the vocalist here. And I'm going to a drum pack that I am currently making for Future Bass, and we're going to go to some of the one-shots here. The great thing about these kicks here, I made them all in kick 2. Ever since it's been out, I've been absolutely loving it. I'll make the kick, tune it to how I want, and then I will go. So right now, though, when we actually get to the actual production, I will be pulling up kick 2. But for right now, it's not super important that my kick is tuned because I'm just doing a scratch track. So let's just see if how this kick feels. That kick actually sounds really cool. This is one that I made in kick 2. So we're going to have that come in right here with the drums. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm diving for samples. I'm finding some samples to create a drum groove, and there's a million ways to do this. There's no real wrong way. The only thing that you could be doing incorrectly is not using high quality enough samples. I can't stress how important it is to have as production-ready samples in your library, in your arsenal as you can, because it makes mixing everything, it makes producing a lot easier. For instance, this kick, I don't have to do anything to get to fight through this scratch track. That's what I want. I don't want to have to spend 20 minutes to get to fit just with 2 instruments. So we're going to use that as the kick. Now let's go to, let's try one of the snares here and find a snare. That one's interesting. So we're going to drag this into Logic, and I'm going to make it in Logic just so it's universal for all the DAW users out there. Okay, so we don't want that feeling, right? We don't want this type of... We don't want 4 on the floor. So we're going to spread this out. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So the snares are going to go on the 2 and 4. Counting at double time, it'd be 1, it'd be on the 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's just copy and paste those out. I don't want to do what I just did. I just time stretched. Do not want to do that. So let's take these and copy those out. So right now I'm just going to copy and paste some of these kicks out here. So let's try that. Okay, that's a little bit too slow sounding. So let's pop it right there. Let's put that right there. And yes, I kind of beatbox as I do this. That's on the wrong beat right there. So these last 2 appear to be wrong. Let's get these. They're going to go right there. They should. Alright, we could potentially get a pickup in there, so let's try that. Right there, maybe? Alright, we'll come back to that idea. So there's kind of the bare bones of it. So we have on the first 2 bars, let's get... Actually, that was right how it was. So let's copy and paste that out now. All right, let's just delete those. So I like what the first half of it is doing. All right, so the problem is that I have I had music on that part where I wanted the snare to be open. All right, so that's good enough to kind of roll with. Let me see if I like another snare more than this one. That one's cool. Ooh, I really like that one. Let's go back to Logic, hit X, drag and drop this in. So again, the way I'm creating the drums, you can do this in any DAW. I'm keeping this as open-ended as I can. So if you guys are a live user, if you're a Cubase user, whatever it may be, you can still use this technique. All right, so I like where that sounds. Let's try to find just some like percussion or oriented noises or something just to make it a little bit more interesting. Just so there's more of a rhythmic pocket for Luna to grab when she's writing. So I'm going to go over to the percussion folder here and look for some percussion sounds that might work. That's kind of cool. A shaker might be cool, so let's just drag and drop that in, and we'll just leave it right there at the start. Let's try dragging in, actually I screwed that up. All right, that will work. And let's try dragging in this Foley clap as well. Cool. It'd be cool to add that little hi-hat sound. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm going to add that tambourine to the second, every other snare hit. All right, now with this, let's try getting this so it's... All right, guys, so off camera, I just was moving around the audio samples that we dragged in. I moved one of the kicks, the kick and snare, that's all remaining the same here. We have the shaker happening every other time. And then these little kind of Foley claps. That's how it was. Just added that one right there. So these two are the same. And then I added this little kind of like a jack U sound almost. It's like a bongo sound. All right, so there are the scratch tracks. Now, let's revisit our chords, and I want to talk about something a little bit more depth. I talked about how I alluded to how with future bass, it's really important sometimes to get that right, to get the right feeling, to leave the snares open. So, for instance, if I just had these running through the snares. It doesn't sound as cool. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add a couple chords to fit the little drum groove that we have going. So let me pull up the piano roll. All right, so the second snare happens right here. I'm going to start a chord right there. So we're going to take this chord, copy and paste it. We're going to shorten it and have it come in right on the and of 2. So or rather the 3 of the 2. 2 and 3. All right, then let's delete that now that we know where our space is because we have the drums. I'm going to extend these notes out, make them all equal. All right, then let's extend that out and let's record a Nexus drum loop that I use all the time for scratch tracking. I've used it in hip hop a couple times, not all the time. I've used it a couple, but it'll be applicable to this song. So let's record that real quick. All right, so I'm going to bounce that to audio as soon as I get it quantized here. And we'll make this full velocity. Okay. So let's bounce that to audio. All right, so that's sounding pretty cool for a scratch track. So let's take some of these drum samples out here, and let's leave that one there. We'll copy and paste that out, and we're gonna move all these over. Just move those over to there, and then we'll have 8 bars of this first section. All right, so that sounds cool. Now that is enough for Luna to scratch track the breakdown to, I guess. I mean, she can always email me back and say, hey, I need more. But this is good enough to get the track going. I like where it's headed. It's working at 120 beats per minute, which was my main concern. So just to recap what we've done thus far, we've done actually a lot in this tutorial course. We've looked at the music theory, we've looked at the sounds, and then we've built this little scratch track that a vocalist will be able to sing to, and then we can kind of build up around those vocals. So we're going to keep on trucking here. In the next video, we're going to have the scratch track vocals in here, and we'll dissect those and talk about that process. I'll see you there.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.